Hello and welcome to episode 127 of the Perth to Paisley podcast, a podcast dedicated to Heart of Midlothian Football Club, who claimed their first victory since the 4th of March. 6 defeats have since passed, but joining me to chat about the Jambos dishing out a 6-1 thumping to Ross County at Tynecastle is Daniel McIver. McIver, how are you?
6 losses, who cares, because we've had 6 goals, love and life, class performance. Listen, for people who behind the curtain, we've had a massive 40-minute technical issues with microphones not working, everything like that, and I'm not letting it affect me. It's going to be a positive episode for the first time in what feels like months. I'm buzzing. How are you?
That's good, mate. I'm glad you feel so strongly about it. I'm all right. Yeah, it was nice to get back to winning ways at the weekend. It was nice to score some goals. I've missed this feeling.
Yeah, exactly. You weren't even there to see it.
I wasn't. What can I say? I was literally driving up, and I got to Hart Hill, and we broke the deadlock. And given like what's been going on, and given how frustrated I've been, literally as soon as that first goal went in, I was screaming on my own in the car. I think I spoke like elsewhere on the M8, just looking at it like, what the hell's this guy up to?
I support it.
As I'm just going nuts. But we also had reason to go nuts given what happened elsewhere.
Oh, fuck me.
Let's go around the grounds before we chat about the Jambos getting back to winning ways. 4 other games on the Saturday. Obviously, we were the early kickoff. The 4 other games were kickoffs at 3. The first of which, Dundee United looked to really pushed on in their quest for survival. 3 wins on the spin, recording a 2-0 win over Livingston, which has cost the Lions a place in the top 6. I say that hasn't cost them, but you know what I mean. It was hanging by a thread heading into the weekend. A side that were in the top 6 are St Mirren for the first time since 1985. Which I think was also the last time that Kilmarnock won a game away from home before the weekend. But Kelly obviously went up to Paisley and won by 2-0. Celtic's 100% record at Parkhead is gone. The kettle is still boiling at Fir Park, as Stuart Kettlewell's Steelmen claimed a 1-1 draw in Glasgow's East End. And 1-1 was also the scoreline in Perth, as St Johnstone took the lead with just a wonderful goal from Stevie May. Before Lewis Stevenson equalised and Jimmy Jeggle got sent off. So that was Saturday's games, but the annoying one came on Sunday, a game that I watched, I don't know about yourself, McIver, and was really annoyed that Rangers didn't take the lead in the first half, and then Aberdeen went up and punished them twice, thanks to one of the jammiest goals I think we'll ever see, and, Borna Barisic taking a kip at the back post, as he so often does. As the Dons ran out 2-0 winners, the first time they've beaten Rangers at POTY since James Maddison's free kick in the last minute. I wonder whatever happened to that bloke. What did you make of the other 5 fixtures in the cinch, the greatest league in the world?
Right, we'll get it out of the way. That's third done. We needed them to lose, and they didn't. And
the one favour that we've ever asked for Rangers for.
Exactly. Just the most us thing. You see, I think it was Pie and Bovril did form in the last 6 games. And it's like, listen, our form's been dire. 1 win in 6, 7, however you want to look at it. But the fact that Aberdeen have the best form in the country, 18 from a possible 18 points, you just have to hold your hands up and go, yep, they deserve third.
Make that 21 from 21.
Yeah, exactly. They absolutely do. And it's annoying, but we'll get into what it means for us. I'm not letting it dampen this weekend.
Let's get all this out of the way now. This is our doing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I saw a lot of people, understandably, really annoyed on Sunday. And I was annoyed, but there was a part of me that was like, I can't get too annoyed at this because this game should have meant nothing. It should have been, wow, Aberdeen got a shock win. Oh, well, we're still 6 points clear going in. But we're not. So, listen, fair play to them. They deserve it. Celtic, just really funny. Seeing the reaction where we have it all year round, every year, being told by Old Firm fans, just get better, just compete. And then when Motherwell find an excellent way of doing it, yeah, exactly. It properly is that. Motherwell find an excellent way of doing that. And Celtic fans are like, it's a disgrace. It's an embarrassment. Get them out of the league. It's fuck off. You got outplayed.
They'll never understand, will they? They'll just never get it.
Exactly. So that was funny. Stuart Kettlewell is like the best manager in the world alongside Barry Robson. I don't know
Kevin
what's
Van
happening.
Veen is on fire as well, can I just say?
Especially because I haven't actually seen his goal. I haven't seen it, but
Ben's
everybody's
Greg
like,
Taylor,
it's
inside
a great,
and out.
yeah.
And what a finish.
So yeah, that was funny. However, we are probably going to be on the receiving end of kind of anger towards that in terms of league action. So
yeah, we kind of want them to batter Rangers in the semi-final and take everything out on them. That
Get
would
out
be
of their system.
That would be nice.
David Marshall is fucking shit, and I've said it since he joined, and folk got annoyed at me. He's just terrible.
I've said it since that penalty save in Belgrade. That has literally masked over his career.
Yeah, thank you. His career, not just since then, his whole fucking career.
Honest to God, the most overrated goalkeeper I can ever recall.
Just hilarious. Fair play to Stevie May though for going for something like that. Like
my man Mosher, what a goal!
Exactly. So yeah, 1-1 was the most of course that was going to finish 1-1. The most predictable result.
Do you think that Jegos is a red card?
I don't think it's a red card. I can understand though why VR didn't overrule it, because I think simultaneously, see if it was Napier, wasn't it, the ref?
Now you're asking. I
think it was Craig Napier. If Craig Napier gives a booking, I don't think VR turns it into a red either. I think VR in that situation is going to go with whatever the referee's decision. Yeah, good to see.
Nice. Well, glad you've been paying attention.
I know things.
I don't to the referees because they're all as useless as one another. But my annoyance is folk comparing it to the Graham Shinney challenge.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
No.
It's not the same thing at all. Graham Shinney is a stonewall red card. That's at least debatable.
You're trying to tell me that that's not endangering an opponent. Again, how can they be missing a player that's so influential and still get the better of Rangers? That Scales goal.
We're back to this.
Mate, I swear to God, see when things are going in your favour.
Yeah.
That is just the Midas. That doesn't happen to sides that are winless and that have lost 6 on the bounce.
Yeah.
Honest to God.
Staying in the top 6. Fair play to St Mirren. First top 6. Basically fucking...
What an underwhelming afternoon today, though.
It was funny to see their fans not give a shit though. They were just who cares? We're in this. The Thierry Small double yell was the funniest shit in the world.
40 seconds, am I right in saying that?
14.
14 seconds.
Yeah, 14 seconds.
Oh my God.
So that was great. And then, listen, I know Sean, who does the Livingston commentary.
Feel for Livy, man.
I do feel for them, but simultaneously, it was interesting seeing their fans. There seemed to kind of be a split on Twitter, at the very least, in what I saw, where some fans were like, oh God, here we are again, we've done it, we've no got here. And then the other half were like, no, but this is a disgrace. We should have got top 6. Yeah. Which is
What camp would you be in? Because I think for me, I'd probably be in the latter. I thought Livy were a stick on for the top 6, particularly when they held us at Tynecastle in that 1 each draw. I thought they were unlucky to come away with obviously 1 point as opposed to all 3. They did this last year as well, whereby as they approach the top 6 or as they approach the split, the wheels seem to come off.
Yeah,
that loss to Inverness in the cup. Since then, it's been spiralling, and their league form's been awful.
And I will always take into account the fact that they clearly have the lowest budget in the week.
Do you think so? David Martindale never mentions it.
But I do think it's a very justified... See, if I was in his situation, every interview I'd be saying it. I know. It's always an achievement for them to never... He just never seems to have them in the relegation battle, ever.
No,
that's amazing. But you do have to look at the context of the season and go, you should have got top 6 here.
Expectations change, don't they? Initial targets, dependent on circumstance, and
100%. But
I think all about that.
They didn't get it. So we'll see what happens. And then, is there any other games apart from ours? I think that was all.
No, I think you've reeled each and every one off.
Yeah.
So
it was a funny weekend.
I'll tell you what, anybody gets a Scottish Cup up this weekend with Premiership games, then fair play to you, because that St Mirren would have burst it. Celtic, if you're daft enough to take Celtic,
Rangers
1 to 10. Rangers maybe. I fancied Hibs at McDermott as well. But yeah,
arguably us. Considering the form.
Yeah. Given our predictions last week,
Yeah, exactly.
Those were essentially wiped out after what 20 minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
But yes, as we alluded to, Hearts did defy a lot of odds. Let's just say when taking on Ross County at Tynecastle at the weekend. 5 changes made by Stephen Naismith on his Tynecastle dugout debut. Andy Halliday, Stephen Kingsley, Alan Forrest, George Grant, and the injured Michael Smith made way for Nathaniel Atkinson, Alex Cochrane, Josh Ginnelly, Yutaro Oda, and Peter Haring making his first start since October. It appeared as though Hearts lined up in a 4-2-3-1. Did you see it that way? Yeah.
No,
Your face looks funny.
I would say 4-4-2. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I took it from Fault Mob, so make of that what you will.
Embarrassing that.
Okay.
I use them every day. I don't know why I'm needlessly calling out for Mob. It's literally what I use all the time.
The other Fault Mob's decent.
Yeah.
Xander Clark continued to goal. The back four was Nathaniel Atkinson, Toby Simic, Kai Rolls, and Alex Cochrane. There was a mismatch in midfield, according to McIver. So the way I saw it and Fault Mob saw it was Cammy Devlin and Peter Haring in front of the back four, with Josh Ginnelly, Yutaro Oda, and Barry Mackay all supporting Lawrence Shankland in attack. Some said that Ginnelly was up with Shankland. Some said that Shankland was in the 10 supporting Ginnelly with Oda on the right. What did you make of the 11 players selected? Never mind the formation, McIver.
I am just thinking, I think actually for a lot of the game we were a 4-2-4. I actually think is what we were. I think it was Mackay on the left, Oda on the right, and then Gino and Shankland interchanging which one was further ahead. But
just so fluid, just so flexible. I mean,
Hearts, this is Nazy ball.
Hearts with the handbrake off, baby. This is
exactly.
I've been gagging on this.
So, in terms of the changes made, it very much felt to me, at least, that this was Naismith saying, right, last week I tried to keep continuity, didn't want to change a whole bunch of stuff, and it didn't work. So now, here we go. It's my team now.
Back to the drawing board, wasn't he?
Yeah. I was happy with every single change made because I knew Smith was enforced. So I was like, right, okay, Atkinson has to come in. But the other 4, I was like, they are exactly the 4 players I would have dropped out. They are exactly the 4 players I would have brought in. So I was sat going, this is going to give us the best chance of winning. If this squad can't win, we're not winning another game. We're not getting a point this season. Never mind not doing anything.
Jesus.
There was a lot on the line right, on Saturday morning.
There certainly was. I've got to be honest, I was surprised by a couple selections. I was surprised to see Yutaro Oda given the nod, given that we've not seen much off the bench. However, that proved a masterstroke, as we'll get into.
Yes.
Peter Haring, just out of the blue, forgot that geezer even existed. So that was nice.
I will say, I expected that a lot more because on Thursday, an article came out where Naismith basically said Haring was starting, where he was like, I had a chat with him. I made it very clear to him that he was in my plans. We'll see what happens on Saturday.
Okay. Nice. Josh Ginnelly, of course, your mate Alex Cochrane back into the fold. You must have been delighted.
I was very confident, shall we say, that Alex Cochrane was going to have a good game. That we'll get into what happened with that confidence that made me just go, I don't care about this result. It's a successful day. But yeah, delighted that he's back in. He shouldn't be dropped.
Look, your confidence was justified as it was an electric start. I mean, I listened to this game on the radio, like I say, and I was able to just pick up how well it was going. I know folk are sick of me saying it, but Hearts and a fast start. Name me a more iconic duo. Honestly, I love that. I really do. And your mate Alex Cochrane was certainly in the mood. Blazed one over the bar after just 90 seconds. What did you make of the approach straight from kickoff?
It was really funny. About a minute and a half into the game, we got a throw-in, and Nazy ran from his technical area about 20 yards to get the ball and give it to Atkinson.
I love that, man.
The mindset was clearly, fucking attack. That's it. intensity,
attack.
Intensity, pressure, and ability. It was just Naismith saying, go and play with confidence, go and get in their faces. We've got Tynecastle behind us. And you could just tell. I don't know how good I'm going to be at analysing this game, because every single time you're going to say something about someone, I'm just going to go, yeah, they were great. Because I'll just say this right now. I don't think out of the starting 11 who played, I don't think anyone was below a 7.5, 8. I think everyone was excellent.
What I was going to ask you is, are you surprised that Stephen Naismith took that approach, whereas, like you said, there was a lot on the line? Really, it was a case of win this or thirds bust, because obviously Aberdeen will get to play Rangers on the Sunday, so the potential to close that gap to 2 with their fixture not looking as favourable. Like, a lot did depend on this match. Were you surprised to see sort of fringe players and Naismith essentially say, just go out there and express yourselves?
I don't know if surprised is the right word, but I was very happy with it. It was a risk. It was definitely a risk because, as you say, it's guys like Oda who had, I think, before Saturday, I think he played a combined 28 minutes since
and you
arriving.
get to see a toxic Tynecastle as well. Like, part of my thinking was the longer that Ross County park that bus for straight hearts, the crowd got on their back, the easier it then becomes for them, the trickier it becomes for us.
100%. And like Peter Haring coming back in after such a long amount of time out. I think that was his first
start since October.
Yeah, 100%. And listen, it was brave, and of course, we're sat here with the benefit of hindsight and going, it was genius. It worked perfectly.
So it's amazing how it's a masterstroke after full time.
Yeah, but I think you could tell it was a masterstroke after 90 seconds, as you say, because you could just tell the squad just seemed to understand each other more. Naismith, after it, said that literally everything that they did well, they had done in training this past week. So that's a great start as well for him.
I heard Andy Halliday talk about the intensity in training supposedly being cranked up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't surprise me with Stephen Naismith at the helm, given,
not at all.
Like the playing career that obviously he's had and even the levels that he raised at Hearts as a player.
Yeah.
One player that certainly seemed to be just a different entity completely was Barry Mackay, tracking back on 10 minutes. Cammy Devlin wrestling to protect the ball as best he could. A great ball from Barry Mackay sets Alex Cochrane free, and he pulls back for the roaming Yutaro Oda, picking up those little pockets in the middle, but despite opening up his body, he sends one trickling just wide of the post. Yeah. Barry Mackay would thunder one over the bar, tidy chest down from Lawrence Shanklin, but we were certainly on top in search of a breakthrough. And just over a quarter of an hour has played, Hearts would open the scoring. Nathaniel Atkinson's throw-in sees Shanklin and Ginnelly try and link up. The latter looks to return to the former, but marauding from left back, somehow nearly ending up on the right wing, was Alex Cochrane. And back in the team, playing with all the purpose in the world, our left back sends a wonderful right-footed shot flying past Ross Laidlaw, and it's 1-0 Hearts. Kick on.
And it's Daniel McIver, £145 richer as well, because that was the confidence. First goal, I saw him back in the team and I was like, right, he's got to have a point to prove. He's got to be up for it. I normally stick £2 on, but I was like, no, I'm going for a fiver. 28 to 1.
28,
yeah.
Jesus. 28 to 1.
Just loving it. Just absolutely loving it. But
was that the most you celebrated the Hearts goal in a wee while?
I must have been fucking mental.
Yeah, I bet. That's class.
I was celebrating like, oh yeah, and then I realised as it hit the back of the net, it was Cochrane. So I had like a second celebration. And just turned into my dad being like, I heard that was first goal scored, just screaming in his face. But it was, listen, it's a great goal. Shankland is so crucial to it as well, even though he doesn't touch it in that little moment, but he drags the defenders away to allow Cochrane that space. But
stops the gap as well, Cochrane.
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to mention. You said our left back is up nearly at right wing. And what you could tell for pretty much the whole game, up until it got to the latter stages where we were so comfortable, both Cochrane and Atkinson, but particularly Cochrane, were completely inverted. So Cochrane was spending most of his time at centre mid, it felt like. especially in the first half. You just kept saying, whenever we were defending, Cochrane was at left back, obviously, but as soon as we get the ball, he just started cutting in. And he's such a good passer of the ball. So what that meant is that it allowed Devlin, who the criticism of Devlin in recent months has been that he's too deep to do anything because his passing's been weak. We'll get to that in a minute. But generally, Devlin's passing's been weak. What that allowed was Devlin to be higher up the park. So when he won the ball, if he just needed to play a short pass, he was able to just pop it off to one person who was suddenly around him. Then Cochrane makes Barry Mackay a better player as well, because Mackay does that Barry Mackay pass where he does like the no-look reverse pass.
Yeah.
And when Stephen Kingsley's there, Kingsley just doesn't make that run. So
no.
Mackay either doesn't play the pass, and then we're stuck because the opposition have got back into position, or Mackay does make the pass and it's to absolutely nobody because Kingsley's behind him going, I'm a left back, what are you talking about? Alex Cochrane should never be dropped again. It is a joke he was. Everybody was saying that at half-time. Everyone was like, would we be in the position we're in if Cochrane had been dropped? So it's not as simple as that, but it's one of the main reasons. Our second best player of the season hasn't played in recent weeks, and it's been a fucking disaster. Then Naismith just goes, Alex, go and just do what you're good at. And then he ends the half with a goal, 2 assists. I love him.
Cracking recapture, wasn't it? Thanks, Davey Weir. I
Really
really appreciate it. I mean, this link that Brighton have with Hibs, it could have ended up playing for the Mankey Mob.
Imagine that. I couldn't have dealt with that.
Replacing, club icon Lewis Stevenson, but thankfully...
He wouldn't have been given time. It would have been fine because he's Stevenson's replacement, so it's fine.
Yeah. But like you say, even listening to it, the roar after this goal, I heard it, in the crowd on the radio. I heard it in my car as it was solely me just going absolutely tonto. This was phenomenal. And I think the crowd, when things are going well, are such a huge asset for Hearts. Yeah. Thankfully, we opened the scoring early here because, like I alluded to earlier, the longer we leave it, the more anxious we all get, the more tetchy it gets, the frustration, the booing. But a superb start. And a superb start was made even better on 20 minutes. Hearts would have the ball in the back of the net once again. However, the officials were determined to rule this one out. Cammy Devlin wins it back, having lost out to David Cancola in the middle of the park. Sends a wonderful pass beyond the county backline for Josh Ginnelly to latch onto. Gino running on the right-hand side of the box, turns back, shifts onto his left foot, sends an emphatic finish into the top left-hand corner. We think it's 2-0. Josh Ginnelly starts giving it his celebration, but the flag is up for offside. However, after consulting VAR, the goal is given. Hearts are 2 to the good after 22 minutes. And if I was relieved after the first goal, I was even cooler after the second.
I know, as we were mentioning around the grounds, that VR got a lot of negative press in Scottish football this weekend, but I feel like our game was a really good example of it working well for multiple decisions.
It's certainly not the worst weekend it's had.
No.
A fortnight ago, I seem to remember it being even worse, or 3 weeks ago.
This was an excellent use of it, but before we get to that point, that was the most Cammy Devlin assist you've ever seen in your life. Because
a hope and hit pass.
No, but it's just no. I mean the whole move where he has the ball at his feet, loses it, but is like, "No, I'm getting that ball back."
Back to being a wee terrier, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A Tynecastle terrier.
100% tackles him, and then I think this is what I mean. Everyone's reading so much into it, going like, "Naismith Guardiola, he's got Devlin able to pass well," but it is a great ball through. It takes the entire Ross County team out of it. And then my dad was saying, he was like, that was the most Josh Ginnelly goal ever. That's what we all want Gino to do. Be playing on the shoulder, getting in behind, cutting in and hitting it as soon as he can. And it's a great finish.
And it is a fantastic finish. What I was going to ask is, do you think that he's on? Because it does look a really tough call.
It is tough.
Is it Iacoviti at left centre back that seems to be?
Yeah. Iacoviti.
Because even then the angle, it looks harder to judge because you can't see it straight on.
Dead on.
You need more cameras. Like, again, I was going to try and be positive throughout this episode, but VAR being rushed, like, you can tell that it is with stuff like this, and they've not got the additional angles to provide the official support. That's the last you'll hear of me sticking up for the officials, but carry on.
I'll be honest, I think it's quite easily onside. I think you can tell even from that angle that Gino's leaning, but Jakovic's a step behind him. So you can tell that, like, when you watch it, but I assumed being at the game that it was insanely tight. And I think it's tight, but I think it was like,
it's pretty tight.
And what I mean by that is I can understand why the official at the game flagged. I can understand that.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
In real time.
That's why it's like, that's a great use of VAR. The referees allowed it to play on because they weren't totally sure. Move finishes, they flag, but then they go, no, it's fine, there's a goal. And it was at this point, I still don't think everyone had settled because we were like, it is us. If we concede, it's 2-0 the most dangerous scoreline. Like, if you concede, we know what this team's like.
All it takes is a Jordan White wonder goal.
Exactly. Like, they'll pull something out of nothing because they hadn't been in the game at all. No. You're thinking, it doesn't matter at 2-0. If they get one thing in, we'll be backs to the wall. Thankfully, it didn't work out like that. But I will be honest, paired with the performance, I was thinking this could actually be quite a few here.
Yeah, schooling. Yeah, I mean, I'm as well just asking you now, were we really good? Were County really terrible? Or was it a combination of both?
So, remember in January when we beat Aberdeen 5-0?
And that was never a 5-0 game in a million years.
And at half-time at 4-0, everybody was kind of laughing, going, we've been all right, but how are we 4-0 up?
Yeah, it was a frustration that we were only 4-0 up.
Yeah, this was, listen, I've seen a lot of non-Hearts and Ross County fans, like neutrals watching it going, this is an all-time terrible performance from Ross County. And listen, they were really poor.
On the Sky cameras as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But we were incredible. As I say, literally no one less than a 7.5. Everybody was excellent. There was intensity. We were so much more physical than I expected. You mentioned it. Barry McKillop tracked back and won a challenge that he had no right to win. And it genuinely was like, I don't think I've ever seen Mackay do that ever. Oda, for being a wee guy who always seen the first 20 minutes.
I don't think he is that wee, you know. I think he's tall, but he's not like.
Well,
I know
what you
mean. He's slender, but
yeah, I was like, oh, he's just this wee guy who we've seen at Hamilton come on for 10 minutes, and then in that game, he's rushing after people, bullying centre halves off the ball, flying into challenges, and it's like, this is great. This is exactly what we've been missing because. I say all the time, we're so fickle as football fans. If we'd went in, I think only 1-0 up at half-time, but played like that, I think the reaction would have been as strong because it was like, you can tell that they looked arsed, which is something we've not had for ages.
Is that as simple as the geezer on the touchline as opposed to previously?
I genuinely don't know. The main thing is
we don't know. I mean, I'm just asking. Yeah. I'm not trying to out Robbie or nothing like that. I mean, it's one game under Naismith, and God, last week, I mean, you had folks saying, "Oh, well, he's lost in the derby. That's third gone. Yeah. No way he's getting the job."
I think the main thing you can say is that intensity hasn't been prevalent for a long time.
Well, yeah.
And the only thing that's changed is that Stephen Naismith's in the dugout. And I disagree with some people who are like, see, Naismith's kicking every ball, he's shouting at them. That's what we've been missing. I watched Nielsen on the touchline a lot. Nielsen, we were playing pedestrian football and Nielsen was ripping his hair out what he had left, trying to get them up, screaming at them to get up. So
Robbie is a bit of a barker from time to time.
Yeah, 100%.
He's not afraid to dish out.
I don't think it's just as simple as we've won 6-1 because Naismith shouts at them a lot. It's like, no, I think just...
No, I'm not saying that for a second.
But I do agree with you that it has been missing. And would we have done this under Nielsen? I don't think so. Because look at the games we've previously played under Ross County this season. Yes, we've won them both, but they were more laboured. There was
both by a 2-1 scoreline as well, where they could easily have equalised in both matches.
Absolutely. And again, I know Ross County were also terrible. They're bottom of the league. I think that is them nailed on for relegation.
Yeah,
I will be shocked.
they're finishing bottom now, aren't they?
Yeah,
Particularly
definitely.
with Kelly and Dundee United, obviously both picking up those wins
Yeah.
as well.
I do take that into account. And this run of 5 games that we'll have after the split is like, well, can we do it against any of these teams? Can we play that? But
it'll be very intriguing, particularly, to see, I mean, what happens. Obviously, the title will probably be decided at Tynecastle, as we'll come on to.
Yeah.
Do we go to Ibrox and try and implement something like that?
Like, that's the thing.
If it's a meaningless game for Rangers, I don't see why we wouldn't.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people saying it, where it's like, I don't think anybody's expecting that level of performance post-split, but we should all be expecting that level of intensity and aggression and want. Like, we're not going to... I don't think we'll win a single game 6-1. I'm being bold and saying that, right?
Particularly now that, like, we're obviously the chasing team.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, when Aberdeen come to Tynecastle, regardless of if third's done by then, it's like, no, play like that.
Just show that you're up for it.
Yeah, and show that next season, it's like, right, we're going to be right there with you.
Yeah. Thankfully, the good got even better. Less than half an hour gone, and the host would score their third. Do you know what the best thing about this goal is for me? Great that for once, rather than concede a goal from a ball into the box, we actually score one.
I know.
Fantastic. Oda collects on the right. County nod clear to Mackay on the left. He finds Cochrane in support, clips to the back stick. A fantastic header from Lawrence Shankland, who's on the stretch to nod home. 3-0, less than half an hour gone. 3 points, surely in the bag.
Yeah, like, it's a great goal. It's so patient, which is what Naismith was saying post-match, where he was like, intensity doesn't mean you just throw everything forward and hope for the best. It's like, you're smart with it. You know when to be patient and when to execute a plan. And we did that brilliantly. Oda, he overcooks the ball a wee bit, but it's fine. We've got 2 options on that other side. So we get it, Mackay.
Amazing what happens when there's multiple bodies just crowding.
Exactly. Mackay could swing it himself, but sees that Cochrane has a better angle. It's an excellent ball in from Cochrane because it's not close enough to Laidlaw that he can come out for it, but it's also close enough to him that he knows if his defender doesn't get any contact in this, it's coming towards him.
And it's nearly pinpoint for Shankland, but it's not out of his reach. So that whilst he's on the stretch, he can still get enough on it.
Absolutely.
Project it back across goal.
It's such a good goal. It's obviously one of them is a penalty, but his 2 other finishes are like some of the best striker play I've seen. The wee movement he does to get away from, is it Iakoviti that he gets away from?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And the left centre back.
It takes like a step and it opens up everything, and he doesn't put any power, he just directs it towards goal.
I mean, a minute later, Stephen Humphreys would have had serious competition for goal of the season because the long ball from Sibic sent forward. County just looked so vulnerable playing that back three. I'm amazed that Malcolm Mackay didn't switch to a 4 or nothing beforehand. Looking really vulnerable, like I say. The ball is bouncing. Shankland, from the most ridiculous angle, just looks to lob Laidlaw. He gets the trajectory, he nearly gets it spot on to the point where it's high enough and you just see it creep and dip down, but not quite enough as it clips off the crossbar and then just ends up behind Josh Ginnelly. This isn't particularly this is nothing new from Lawrence Shankland. I think when you see, if you were to watch a compilation of his goals for Ayr and some for Dundee United, he does have a track record of scoring from the most ridiculous of angles. I'd love to know what he tries. I bet he tries all sorts of shit in training like this. He'll just get Toby Sibic to just ping 10 balls to me and see what I can do. Because that, I don't know how long he's been working on that, but that could have been something seriously special. It
was mental. And it just summed up the opening half an hour, 35 minutes. It was just everything we're doing.
Confidence and it did seem like the confidence was back. It was free flowing. It was really nice. Must have been a great game to be at.
It was.
Hope Dad had a nice time. 36 minutes, we're in search of a fourth. Barry Mackay clips into the box. Oda back heels, but drops for Peter Haring, who tries his luck, sends an effort flying just over the crossbar. Not a bad attempt from Big Pedro back in and amongst the action. And Hart should have made it 4 with 3 to play in the first half on 42 minutes. Mackay, Ginnelly, Haring, all linking up. Gino crosses for Shankland. Back heels into Atkinson's path up from right back. But he somehow sends his shot into the side netting. It's somehow still only 3-0. How he doesn't score is beyond me. But it's all right, McIver, because he's got nothing to prove in it.
I couldn't believe he missed it at the time. And then I've watched it back about 5 times. He doesn't even hit the target. He hits the side netting. But listen, I'm not going to be too critical of him because he came out with that article saying he's got nothing to prove. And then, in my opinion, had his best performance for us against Ross County, apart from maybe Killy away, where he scored that raker and was man of the match. He was...
Did he get man of the match at Killy away?
Surely. He was. If I remember, he was our only decent player.
I thought he came off the bench. That's an absolute... That speaks volumes about our performance that day if he's the one to get man of the match.
I think so.
I'm going to go and have a look now. You've intrigued me.
I can't
carry on.
I just remember him scoring a fucking raker. That's all I can remember. He was great. He was everything you wanted Nathaniel Atkinson to be. As I said, the fullbacks were inverted, and it what?
He was. He got 8.4.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought he was our best.
Oh, he did start. I thought he came off the bench.
Yeah, I remembered him starting. Yeah, but that was the thing. It was like he was great. He was taking players on. Him and Oda just kind of seemed to have a connection really early on, and they were linking up really, really well. Oda was doing wee tons, and it would allow Atkinson to overlap and get the ball back, and just it was everything that we'd been promised Nathaniel Atkinson would be since he arrived, and he's never once shown it. And so, listen, I'm not going to be too... I was like, how have you... Of course, Nathaniel, of course you've missed from that position, but not going to be too hard on him at all because he was excellent all afternoon.
And thankfully, Hearts would get the opportunity to grab their 4th just before half-time.
He was really funny here as well. He was involved in a funny moment here.
Was he involved in the altercation on the touchline? No.
He's the one who we have a throw-in, and it's like, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And as soon as Don Robertson goes to the bench, he just turns the ball up to Shankland and is like, we've got this. It's fine.
Nice. Because again, like, there was a chance where we could have sent a ball into the box from a free kick. Yeah. Instead, opted to take it quickly. Haring finds Devlin, who sends out wide to Barry Mackay. In fact, saying this, Mackay's at the heart of everything. This is the Mackay of old. The last season's Barry Mackay, pre-Scotland Barry Mackay, pre-Ukraine, pre-call-up. Screw you, Steve Clark and the national team. Exactly. Slides through to Cochrane on the left-hand side of the box. Shankland gets a nick on the pass. Comes out towards the edge of the area, but draws a foul from young Dylan Smith. Play, however, goes on. You know me, I wouldn't dare criticise the referees in this country. But eventually, my man Don Robertson decides to have a look at his wee monitor. And thankfully, he did.
Well, this is the thing. Obviously, I'm right at the back of R, so I'm directly behind it and almost as far away from it as you can possibly be. So I didn't know. I was like, oh, it looked a bit... because my logic was Smith was already on the ground. Shankland just kicked his leg and been like, I've fallen. It's a penalty, please. So I wasn't totally sure. And then you watch it back and you're like, how is that not given in real time? Robertson just watches him get kicked, go down and goes, fine, that's no penalty at all. And then he looks at it for about 5 seconds and he's like, yeah, that's a pen, and gives it. And again, great use of VAR. Excellent use. If we didn't have VAR, it would only be 2-0.
It's a great use of VAR, but the frustration is VAR shouldn't have to be consulted.
No, it shouldn't
here.
At all.
Like this, at all. Just when VAR is on your side, the referee there always has to be something, whether it be the referees annoying you or VAR annoying you. Goodness gracious me! Shankland steps up, scores. That is now 11 out of 11, becoming 12 out of 12 from the spot for Lawrence Shankland despite a touch from Ross Laidlaw. 24 goals for the season. Obviously, we'll chat about his 25th. That is a ridiculous return.
4 assists as well.
What a wonderful, wonderful player.
He's the best striker we've ever seen.
Wow. I thought you were in the Liam Boyce camp still.
I think Boyce is the better forward all round, but in terms of...
Interesting. As a marksman.
Like goal scorer, we've never seen a better player. And this is the other thing. I cannot believe how good Shankland's all-round play is. Like, he's a great footballer as well.
Yeah.
And we're going to lose him soon. And I can't be arsed.
Don't. Who to?
Birmingham.
Birmingham?
The supposed £5 million bid that's coming in, I don't know.
From Birmingham?
Yeah. Saw that last week, yeah.
Oh, God.
No idea if that has any legs to it, but...
Listen, we'd rather down south than you know where.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. I'm not even entertaining
God,
that. I'm not even entertaining
thank you.
No.
I wonder if before we go to Ibrox, there'll be some Raj.
Of course there will be! It'll be...
From the Daily Ranger. Yeah.
They've lost the league. They need reinforcements.
Rangers eye up Duke and Lawrence Shankland's an amazing double swoop.
Yeah, they're getting Butland and Shankland. Like, that's the summer transfer.
Butland, Shankland, Duke.
Yeah.
Whoever
Miofsky. Just all the good players.
Nisbet.
Yeah, everybody that's great out with us.
Oh, God.
I want to speak. This is probably the best time to mention him because he got a touch in the penalty. I thought Laidlaw was their best player, and he was still shit and conceded 6.
That back three. Look, I know Dylan Smith's a young player that's
I felt bad for him.
Premier League interest, 16.
Aye.
Connor Randall, mate.
Mind when he was a viable option for us.
Connor Randall. Dad said to me, my old man literally said, I've seen worse play for Hearts than Connor Randall. I was like, you are joking. Dad was like, I didn't think he was that bad for us. No, stop.
I've seen worse play for Connor Randall. Connor Randall's still probably in the bottom 50.
I've seen worse play for Hearts. That doesn't excuse how pish he actually was. Yeah,
it's like Randall was like a 4. I've seen 1s and 2s. It doesn't take away the fact that Randall was fucking mad.
Alex Iacoviti, like, why? Malky Mackay's an experienced manager. He makes 2 changes, both of which come in the back 3 to accompany a 16-year-old.
I watched the second half with Hearts, though. I was sat with them, and I just turned to them and was like, imagine if we were 4-0 down at half-time and the one substitute was a centre-half or a centre-half. Like, imagine time castle if that happened.
Honest to God, they don't score goals. No. And yet, defensively, they looked all right this season, bar Saturday.
Yeah. And when didn't Motherwell batter them and all?
5-0 up in Dingwall, that's right.
Yeah. I felt bad for Don Cowie, right? I was above Don Cowie.
The goat.
And I was like, I feel bad for you. But I was fucking buzzing that Malky Mackay was
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Well in, Malky.
It just is going to be them 12th, isn't it?
Yeah, they're getting relegated.
Who do you think's going to join them in the playoff?
Killy.
And do you think Killy will survive?
Yes, I do. I don't want them to, but I think they will.
Tell you what, better not be Dundee coming up as well.
It's going to be Dundee. We just all have to accept it. It's going to be shit and Dundee.
Why?
I know. We all want Queen's Park. I want Inverness, but it's not going to
either of them. It's going to be Scumdy, annoyingly. Look, I mean, we talked about how rubbish Ross County were. Could have pulled one back. Start the second half. John White, of course, scored.
That's a mental miss. It is a mental miss.
How he nods against the crossbar after this flick on, I don't know. They also nod over from the resulting corner.
Yeah.
Again, this just highlights their offensive inconsistency, lack of prowess. Yeah. However you want to say it, just really, really woeful. But a few minutes later, the Hawaii 5-0 music was to be blaring out that Tynecastle tannoy. Josh Ginnelly decides to take matters into his own feet. Alex Cochrane's throw finds our number 30, wriggles free from his man, and blasts one into the bottom corner. It's still over half an hour to play. A great goal in and amongst a fair few great goals, it has to be said, mate.
it was almost identical to the first goal he ever scored for us against, funnily enough, Dundee. That first day of the season, where it was edge of the box.
The
and he
6-2.
just drills it for the edge of the box. I'll take a wee Cochrane assist there because he threw it to him, so that counts as an assist.
I genuinely think he has got the assist.
Yeah, he does. It counts as an assist.
Yeah. Even though it seems like Ginnelly, it seems like a defender takes a nick.
Well, no, so this
after
is what
Ginnelly gets a touch.
I think this is the worst defended goal out of a lot of them, which is
just because there's no pressure on the ball.
It is horrific. No one gets a touch in it. What happens is Gino controls it and still gets the break of the ball. No one gets involved. They just run through him or just stand off him completely. It's insane, and it's a great hit. It's right at Laidlaw. It's down the barrel of him, but it's just hit so hard that it's like he's not got a chance.
I actually thought it looked as though it was right in the corner. I maybe need to go back and watch the highlights.
Go back and watch it again. Yeah, okay. It's pretty close to the corner.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I certainly will go back and watch the highlights again. I can watch them over and over. Like I've missed a performance like this for so long.
Yeah, but I was glad he got to actually properly celebrate. Like, because obviously he celebrated after the offside, but it was a bit like, oh, what's happening?
That's rotten, isn't it? Like that's I can see him like, come on, like as he's running off for the first. But yeah. Has his moment, and in front of the Gorgie enters.
Exactly.
But before 60 minutes, it was to be 6 of the best for the famous part of Midlothian.
Oh no, it was now. Yeah, you're right. Was it?
Oh, sorry.
We missed a highlight. No, we've not. It was after this. We're fine.
We're
fine.
Are you going to talk about the fact that it should have been 7?
Yeah, but I thought it should have been 6 before it was 6.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, thanks for stealing my thunder here.
It's all right. It's all right.
Just
too excited.
Yeah. 6 goals to discuss.
Come on.
Barry McGuy bounces on a slack Dylan Smith touch, frees Yutaro Oda. Chefs on his left foot, tries to get a shot away, but as Ross County failed to clear, Lawrence Shankland chips just a gorgeous finish into the far corner. The perfect execution, a hat-trick in front of the Gorgie end, and it was 3-11 before the weekend for Lawrence Shankland, but it's 3 on a superb Saturday afternoon display.
It's such a good finish.
Oh,
it's so good. However, you've been very polite in the phrase "tried to clear" because
the north of the ground.
What's going on? Was it Baldwin who was doing that? Or was it Iacovetti?
I want to say it was young Dylan Smith. I really do. Is that just inexperience? He's just thinking, just get anything on it.
But what it does is actually add a wee bit of momentum onto it. So Shanko just needs to cushion it into the far corner and just an amazing finish. Obviously,
you could watch that on repeat, couldn't you? You really could.
That, if you watch the celebrations from a certain angle, it sadly signifies the end of Nathaniel Atkinson's day, who had been sent into the boards about 5 minutes earlier and was holding his groin, which has been an issue with him. And he kind of played on a wee bit. Then that goal comes in and Shankland runs past him and everybody runs and Atkinson takes one step and then just sits down. And he's like, no, I can't. And he got brought off then. But it was just great. A great finish. So deserved his hat-trick. He was fantastic. And just, it was like, this is 6-0, but it could be 10.
And it should have been 7 on the hour mark. Why Ross... This is, again, like, why they decide to play out from the back at 6-0 down, I do not know.
I respect it.
That is the definition of insanity to me. Yeah. Yutaro Oda pounces on a defensive mishap, looks to square for Josh Ginnelly, but it's behind him, and then County block Gino's effort on the spin. All Yutaro Oda's performance missed was a goal. My question to you is, in this instance, I can appreciate the selflessness. He's trying to set Gino up for his hat-trick, but should he be more selfish?
Just be a selfish wee bastard! Yeah. Just, all you have to do is pass it into the empty net.
Open up the body, Thierry Henry-esque, and just slip it away. Even if he doesn't, Gino's in a decent position for a rebound, surely.
Yeah. He's such an unselfish man. And in 9 times out of 10, I would massively respect that. But here, listen, I know you weren't there. I have never been in a ground where an entire crowd is willing
for
someone
somebody to score.
to score. Even when Mackay didn't get his goal for ages, even when Devlin didn't get a goal for ages and he finally did. That whenever Oda got the ball, even when he had like 8 guys in front of him, for the last 20 minutes, folk were just shouting, "Go yourself! Just go yourself! Forget everybody else. It doesn't matter. Hit it for 40 yards. It might go in."
I just wonder if that's lost in translation. He's trying to take on 20,000 voices.
He thinks folk are getting annoyed at him for no shooting.
100%. He's like, "Oh shit! I'm trying to be as selfless as I can. I'm still not a piece in this lot."
Listen, I'm glad that we can focus on him now because we've kind of mentioned him. That is what we were told we were signing. I saw somebody say he has 2 speeds. He's either motionless or the fastest motherfucker on the planet. Like, it's insane. He doesn't jog. He just either is not moving.
He genuinely looks quicker with the ball than he does without as well.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. His agility is ridiculous. Like, he just gets it, and it is like it was stuck at his feet for so many. But I mean, so much so that he wouldn't shoot. He would just keep it on his foot. And
hey, Shanklin's glad that he didn't for that last goal. And then when it does break to him.
Exactly. But listen, what a home debut. Just that's what we want. He was exciting. He was doing wee turns in the first half to get past guys twice his height and size. He was linking up really well, filling in that little space that we've kind of been missing for a lot, like in that 10 role.
Yeah.
Because it frees up Shankland as well.
Yeah, like when you've got the kind of 2 sitters, for me, I'd like somebody to connect them with, wide players. And it suits a 4-2-3-1 at the minute. It really does.
It does. And they would just... Oda was so good. I want to mention now, because there is no real place to mention them. Devlin was arguably man of the match as well. It was like... It was everything everybody loves about Devlin. Like in 1 night or however long he got. I can't remember if he got
hit the bar a couple of minutes later as well from that rebound. A decent save from Laidlaw, but
it is actually. But he was fantastic. And then I've been saying it all season, and I can understand why people have kind of pushed back on me. But I think we need to give Haring a new deal. And that game was like emblematic of it.
I was hopeful you wouldn't say this, to be honest, but
because it wasn't even in his performance, which was great. His performance, he was so composed. Whenever he got the ball, he was just like, I don't give a shit who's running at me. I'm finding a pass. I'm linking it up. He was flying into challenges. Everybody was terrified that he'd hurt himself again because he flew into a challenge and then felt his knee and was down for 5 minutes just before the half.
This is what I mean.
But the reason I'd give him a new deal, and maybe he is only going to be a bit part player for the foreseeable, and that's fine. The calmness he brought to Kai Rolls was, you could physically see Rolls like puffing his chest up as the game went on. Because no, that's your question.
No, I was going to ask what would the duration of said deal be then.
I'd be fine if it was just a year deal again to see if we can keep this up. But what he did was, because obviously Rolls has been so poor up against big guys. And Jordan White was the biggest guy he had to deal with.
As we alluded to last week.
Yeah. But what Haring did, just existing in front of them, was, don't worry, I'll go up for headers. Any headers against him, I'll go up. So if he wins them, you can get into a foot race. Because Rolls is fast. Rolls isn't your typical centre-half. He's quite quick for a centre-half. And he's good when the ball's on the ground. He's really good at interceptions, blocks, positioning. So Haring just went up for every aerial duel with Jordan White. I don't know how many he won, but you could tell that Rolls and Civic just took a step back. Yeah, find out. I know you won't be able to find it just against Jordan White, but you'll be able to find out his aerial duel rating. What that did was it allowed Civic and Rolls take one step back, so if the ball dropped, they were just there. What do they have?
He had 12 aerial duels. Mm-hmm. How many do you think they won?
6. I'll give him half.
Spot on. 6 out of 12.
See, I think that for what his role was, I think that's good. And it gave confidence to Civic and Rolls, who both had a great game. Civic and Rolls both did a thing that, again, it's like, is this Naismith's influence? They weren't doing it before. whenever they were getting the ball, they weren't just doing that thing where they'd go wide and try and find a pass. They were both just like, oh, I've got the ball, I'm just running forward. Sibbick did it about 5 times in the second half where you could tell he was like, I want to go as well.
I saw this.
So would just run for 40 yards.
What a guy.
And they wouldn't know what to do with him. And this is what I mean. It's just everybody was great. Literally everybody was great.
Such a nice morale boosting performance. Yeah. I mean, I say this, but it would have been nice if we kept a clean sheet.
Who gives a shit? I know Xander Clark made a big deal about it at the Player of the Year awards. Who cares, Xander? I know you do, but still.
It's Cochrane, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but who gives a shit? You
just can't bear to see Cochrane criticised.
I didn't give a shit. No one in that ground cared. They were just like,
no, I know. Look, if you'd have offered me the chance to score 6 goals against Ross County the week after we've beaten the Derby, I would have snapped both your hands off.
Oh no, we conceded 1 right at the end. I know
it's just annoying. Yeah, it's just annoying. But Woody Edwards does do Alex Cochrane
twice
after he tries to shield it out of play.
Just body him, Alex. Just take a booking, send him at the bar. It's fine.
This is the thing. Was he on a booking? No. Oh, then just go through the back of him or something. Like,
doesn't matter.
That's annoying. But yeah, the county winger's tripped, grabs the ball, slots it home. Yeah. Woo.
Why? And I'm glad they didn't. But why were Woody Edwards and Jan Danda not starting? And why did Danda not play at all?
Don't get it. Like I say, the only changes that he made were at the back.
Yeah, like insane.
Bizarre. I think Jan Danda's coming back from injury.
All I saw was Ross County fans
going,
why did he not get any time? Well, apparently he's been training all week.
He's a baller. Yeah, I think we should go in for him if Kevin go down.
I'd like Danda.
Yeah, 100%. Look, that was that. 6 of the best. Back to winning ways. Important to stay grounded? Are you getting too carried away?
Yes, of course it is. Yeah. Of course it is, because it is bottom of the league at home. You would expect to play well. But the biggest confidence boosting thing for me is not the result. Because as we say, you can have
the performance and the intent.
It's the performance. It's that was a performance that was 6-1 going on 10-1. And no one would have kind of minded or expected anything less. And that's what you hope. You just hope that level of intensity, drive, passion, and general performance. We're not going to get to that level of performance against all 5 of these games, but just keeping that general performance up is a huge, huge thing.
That was the definition of bouncing back.
Yeah.
Before we get into the quiz, going to run through Player of the Year awards, which are obviously held at the EICC. I'll just run through the winners, and you can tell me what you make of them all. So Stevie Morris won the Foundation of Hearts Award. Nice to see that. Doc Melvin Award was picked up by Martine Colley. Craig Gordon won the Special Recognition. B-Team Rising Star and Player of the Year were given to Bobby McCluckey and Macaulay Tate, respectively. Lauren Shankland, of course, won Memorable Moment. Goal at Easter Road, phenomenal. Hearts Women's Rising Star and Player of the Year were given to Monica Forsyth and Kira Grant. Save of the season was Xander Clark's double against Hibs. And goal of the season, Stephen Humphreys against Dundee United. Fans and players player, Lauren Shankland. And that's us. I don't think we can argue with any, if many of them.
Nah, I think like Clark's double save, I can't think. I mean, Gordon in the Dundee United game made an unbelievable save just before he got hurt.
Like Christmas Eve.
Yeah. But Xander's against Hibs is the save. Obviously, Humphreys' goal of the season. Like
Shankland will be fuming that he didn't score that on Saturday, because that could have rivaled it. But
yeah, definitely, it's great to see Bobby McLucky getting so much praise, because he's one that's really highly thought of. Same with Macaulay Tate. Kira Grant is definitely our best player. She's been fantastic.
The Irish one.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's been great. Obviously, special mention. We got our third 1-1 draw with Hibs at the weekend after.
Yeah, it looks like fourth's a real possibility now, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. And I said on Twitter, I watched the game on Sky. It says so much now that a few years ago, when we were involved in the social media for the women's team,
would have killed for a point.
Would have been like ripped your hand off for it, and that would have been a huge result. It says so much now that we are very disappointed with that. We played them off the park.
I know that Hibs have been raided to an extent, but it certainly does.
It's still huge.
Shows our progress.
And Kira scored a great penalty in that game. And then Shankland, listen, I will obviously shout out Cochrane as a second because everybody's going to go when we do
Of course you would.
When we do our end of year awards, I mean everybody does. Shankland's going to clean up in every single thing. So to be like, I'd like to give recognition to Cochrane, who's been so good, but of course Shankland's winning both of them. Like, there's no way you don't do it. So yeah, it looked fun. And Xander Clark, I'm annoyed at you for calling Cochrane a wee fanny in front of everybody.
On that note, let's go on to the quiz.
Yeah.
Before you start outing each and every other member of the Hearts
squad. I'll fight them all if they criticise Cochrane.
5 questions, mate, as per normal. 2 multiple choices, a true or false normal question, and of course the coveted Who Am I?
Yep, right.
I'm starting with both your multiple choices here.
Okay.
First up, we just spoke about Lawrence Shankland. He became the first Hearts player to score multiple hat-tricks in a season since John Robertson did so in the 1982-83 First Division campaign. But what 3 teams did Rob net hat-tricks against? Was it A, Ayr United, St Johnstone and Falkirk? Was it B, Dumbarton, Alloa and Hamilton Accies? Was it C, Clyde, Clydebank and Raith Rovers? Or was it D, Dunfermline, Partick Thistle and Queen's Park?
I think it's A.
Is the incorrect answer.
Fuck, I thought he scored against Ayr. Fuck, I heard you say Ayr go. I remember seeing something about that.
The correct answer is D, Queen's Park in February, Thistle in March, and Dunfermline in April 1983, a hat-trick back-to-back-to-back months.
I saw something about him scoring a hat-trick against Ayr.
That is wild.
Yeah, fair play.
Here's an absolute belter, and you alluded to it earlier. Your mate, Alex Cochrane, claimed 2 assists alongside opening the scoring on Saturday. But who was the last Hearts player to claim 3 assists in one match? Was it A, Andy Irving, B, Barry Mackay, C, Chule, or D, Sean Clare?
Right, surely it's no Chule, because he did fuck all. Like, ages. But did we play somebody stupid in a League Cup? I don't think Barry Mackay's ever got 3. I can think the games I'm thinking of with Irving and Clare is I feel like when we battered Alloa, Irving played in that, and he might have got assists then. Clare, I can think of the St Johnstone game, but he scored one of them. So
that's 3 each.
That's 3 each,
Yeah.
I went with A last time and it was wrong. I'll go with A again. I'll go with Andy Irving.
Well, McIver, you went with A last time and it was wrong. And you've gone for A this time. And again, it's wrong.
Fuck's sake. Was it Charlie?
Yes.
Fuck off. Against who?
A 3-0 victory over Motherwell at Firth Park in February 2017. Siolis scored a long ranger. He set him up, and then both.
That was that game
for Isma Goncalves, yeah. February 2017.
I couldn't even tell you if Charlie played in that.
How wild is that? I thought because I thought about doing him for a Who Am I, and I got chatting to Heart Stats, and they said, "Oh, it was the player that I don't know how we ended up chatting about Chile," and they said, "Oh, the last player to register 3 assists for Hearts in a game." So then my brain was scrambling, the cogs were turning, but to no avail. He is literally the last person that you would suspect.
Yeah.
So I thought, chuck him in as a random answer.
I should have been like, why would you include that?
No matter. Shocking start. But you can redeem yourself with a true or false here. A 50-50 chance of getting it right. Andy Halliday made his 101st Hearts appearance on Saturday off the bench. But true or false, Andy Halliday has scored more goals for Hearts than he's picked up yellow cards.
I'll be totally honest. I thought the question was, he played his 101st game. True or false? Because I thought he hadn't played that many. That's interesting because he scored more than people expect. But his reputation is that he gets booked all the fucking time.
Hence me making this question, mate.
I'll be totally honest though. I can't think of many bookings he's had. I can think of more red cards, like at Aberdeen and all that.
Right. Okay.
So wait, sorry. What was the what am I saying,
So-
true or false to?
So true or false, Halliday has scored more goals than he's collected yellow
I'll
cards.
say true.
The answer is false.
Fuck's sake! How many has he got?
He has picked up 16 yellow cards in comparison to the 13 goals that he scored for Hearts.
So he's got. I can't remember like any of the bookings.
I think his one red card you mentioned was that.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can remember.
And it was a straight red as well, if memory serves.
Yeah, it was.
So
Yeah.
you wouldn't even have that.
Well, I'm getting 0 for 5 here.
No, you're not, because I've made this easy question. And I thought,
that.
No, I thought if he's going to have a nuke, I'll give him a chance to redeem himself here.
Oh God.
Hearts have picked up maximum points against Ross County this season, 9 from 9. But who's the other Premiership side that we could potentially pick up or have picked up maximum points against in the league this season?
Right, wait. The wording of that's really confused me. So I'm just going to go with who I know the answer to be.
Right, okay.
We've picked up maximum points against St Johnstone this season.
Yes, 9 out of 9. Well
done.
Right.
The wording of that totally threw because I was like, but we can't play St Johnstone again.
I thought I'd chuck that in there, maybe, but
I was like, what? What are you talking about? By the way, can I just say, before we move on to who am I am raging. I thought I'd do you. I thought I'd get ahead of a question because I thought what you were going to ask was Hearts scored 6 goals at home in the top flight. When was the last time we did that?
I was going to ask that question.
Yeah, and I was going to go, Motherwell, because I was there and I could have named the goal scorers as well. And I thought that's what it was going to be.
I've never been so happy to not chuck a question in my life.
I'm so angry. I was ready. I did
that is so pleasing. I knew that you think I would ask that.
I did fucking revision. And it didn't even come up. It's the story of my life.
What a weekend and what an episode. Inject that content into my veins.
This is
Hook me up, Doctor.
Disgrace.
Come on.
Right, let's get the who am I where I'm going to bottle this and all.
You have somewhat redeemed yourselves. 1 out of 4.
Hey, what a redemption.
At least it's not a donut.
True.
It could have been worse.
Still the only person to do
that. See, this is what happens when you try and be a nice guy. Folk just throw it back in your face and they become wankers.
Yeah.
Right. The who am I?
Right.
My youth career began at one of the leading academies in world football. After failing to obtain the correct work visa when a full-time contract was offered, I ended up in Scotland representing the Jambos and 2 other Scottish clubs. The only other 2 nations I spent my professional career in were England and Romania, despite once claiming I'd love to stay at Hearts forever. I scored 8 times for the Jambos in 112 appearances, with 3 of those coming from the penalty spot, and was only capped once by my nation, but not whilst I was at Hearts. Who am I?
Is this fucking Chowley again? Because he came through Barca.
Maybe.
But right, straight away.
This man's Wikipedia up.
Straight away, I want the seasons he was at the club.
Right, okay.
No, this could be a disaster.
He was at Hearts from 2014 to 2018.
Oh, Christ. That is not... That could be... No, Charlie didn't join us in the 14 season.
A former teammate of Charlie.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, genuinely, see if it's fucking Charlie, I'm going to kill you.
The temptation I had. But I thought if I were to use Charlie as a who am I, I'd use that. I was the last player to score, to record 3 assists in a match for Hearts.
Right, 14. So he joined in the Championship. What did you say? Sorry, that he's the only 3 nations he's played in Scotland, England, and Romania.
Romania, yeah.
Right. And I was capped once from a country, but not when at Hearts.
Yes.
That's thrown me a bit.
Okay.
Because I'll be totally honest, I thought it was going to be Baraban.
Okay.
But I don't think Baraban's played in Romania. And I have a feeling I remember him going on AFCON duty when he was at us. So, now, I think Baraban would have came through there. A good academy again. I feel on that note, I feel like Gomes, he's played for multiple teams within Scotland, but again, I feel like he hasn't played in Romania that I know of, because he's played for us, Motherwell, United, and Clyde. How many teams did you say he's played for in Scotland?
Yeah, hold on a second. I ended up in Scotland representing the Jambos and 2 other Scottish clubs.
So it's no Gomes either, because he played for too many Scottish clubs. The other one that I'm thinking of is Pallardo.
I'm just looking at this man. It's actually, Hearts and 3 other Scottish clubs. Sorry.
Oh, fuck, it could be Gomes. Oh, no, wait, did Gomes not also play for Killie? So I feel like that's 5. I feel like I should ask nationality, because if you say a nationality, I think I've got it.
Okay.
But, oh, no, wait, no. Because this guy didn't stay. I was thinking of Pallardo, but Pallardo wasn't here for 4 years.
If Miguel Pallardo had a Spain cap, I would be astonished.
Oh, yeah, true. Oh, I forgot that aspect of it.
Never mind your Iniestas, Xavis, Busquets.
Right, I feel like I should ask the nationality, but I also want to ask the clubs.
Right.
Because I cannot think of anybody who played in Romania. But then I'm like, I don't think I'd know anybody, like, even if he gave me a Romanian club. So I will go with the nationality. What nationality is this individual?
This individual is Ghanaian.
Who the fuck was Ghanaian in the 14 season? I can now only think of Gomes and Barabin. I thought Barabin was Senegalese. Or was Gomes Senegalese? Who was African that we had? Oh, but Barabin also plays for Motherwell. Was he at Dundee United, or was that? I'm just thinking of Gomes. Barabin roughly left in 2018. Or is it June? No, June went to fucking. Oh shit! It's either Barabin or oh no, wait, June didn't join in 2014. I'm going to go Prince Barabin because I can't think of anybody else.
Why do you always limp into the right answer with the really incorrect word, guys? It really irks me. Oh, Prince Barabin was Ghanaian, McIver, not Senegalese. Gomes was Senegalese.
Yeah, he was.
Fuck's sake, man.
15 against 7. Come on, take your fucking. I'm not going to mention the Motherwell game that he played in.
You didn't even get the right clubs for Barabin. Give it the 3 other Scottish clubs. No.
Right, Motherwell.
Nope.
No, Dundee United.
Dundee United.
Kelly?
No.
I'm just thinking of Gomes. Falkirk?
I'm not sure if Morgano Gomes played for Falkirk was Wabbins, yeah. He left Hearts for Falkirk. And who did he was on loan at a Scottish club before he signed for Hearts.
Oh, shit, I did, Ken.
We played them. I think it was the game that we were actually relegated in, Partick Thistle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the academy in question, given that you were astonished that Prince Wabben would get out of a shit-hot academy, Wabben grew up in the Netherlands and was a youth player at Ajax.
Of course he did, because the whole thing with El Hasanoui, where they made jokes about Kenny Anderson.
So, yeah, and then Levine signed him for United after after his Ajax deal fell through. He then went down south to Watford and Carlisle, on loan at Partick, Hearts, Falkirk, and then for Panduri Lignatul Targu Jew.
The famous.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about the Romanian aspect at the end there. I just totally forgot. Like, I didn't care for having played in Romania.
One cap for Ghana when he was 20 years old, having been a baller at United.
So, during that whole time, Barabin never went to AFCON?
No.
I thought he did with Gomes, and then when Juma arrived, I thought...
It's funny you mentioned about Gomes, though, because they obviously were both playing for United simultaneously in the middle of the park, and then that's why Levine brought them to the Hearts. That is so fucking annoying. You know that?
Get in!
So annoying.
I'm buzzing with that. Because I loved Barabin as well. I know he tailed off towards the end, but I loved Barabin.
I did. Like that 14-15 season, he and Gomes were just magic, weren't they?
It was class.
What wasn't magic was having shouts of bobbing behind me. That entire season. I'm like, no, it's bobbing.
Well, I'll take 2 for 5. Started off poorly, but
who cares about the rest of the quiz? As long as you get the who am I, really.
Exactly.
That's all that matters.
But also, I did get another one in the quiz as well, so let's not forget about that.
An absolute gift after getting a nuke in the first 3 questions.
Well,
That's just courtesy.
We don't need to focus on that. We can focus on the tail end. It's fine. But I would be interested.
rather than focus on the previous 6 games, we're focusing on Saturday.
We won 6-1.
We're taking the same theme for the quiz.
161. I won 145 quid and got Prince Barabin. So it's been pretty great this week. I would be interested to know if anybody else did get it, because I feel like that's one of the quickest we've got.
What, the Who Am I's?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I did wonder that, like, you would be so. I thought the Ghanaian thing, I thought that was a gift. And then you were debating the two. I was like, I might have a wee lifeline here.
I just couldn't fucking remember nations. I'm terrible at geography. But let us know if you got Prince Rabin and if you've enjoyed this episode, which we really, really hope you have. If you have, please let us know on social media at POTY Paisley on everything. If you have enjoyed it and you're listening to it, please leave a review on your podcast platform of choice. If you've been watching us and me struggle to try and remember Prince Barabin's nationality, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Massively helps us. We're also at POTYPaisley@gmail.com as well. So, Adam, where can they get you on all the socials?
They can get me on all the socials at Adam T. Kendall. What I was going to ask you is, when are we going to come back, given that we've no fixture at the weekend?
We'll take a break for a week.
Some on-air admin.
Give everybody like a week off. We'll come back, post-split.
That'd be nice, to be fair, because I've got an assignment due for next Friday, and then that's me done with third year.
Perfect.
So it's all working in tandem. It's all planned. We knew this. We knew this was going to happen. It was really nice of Hearts to get knocked out in the quarterfinals. Really appreciate it.
That's what we all wanted, isn't it? That's absolutely what we hoped for.
Celtic at home, yes.
Hooray! Well, we will be back in 2 weeks to speak about Celtic game. That's gonna be a laugh, isn't it?
Didn't even touch on the split, so
no, it's fine. We'll speak about it next time. It's all right. Doesn't matter. Everybody's seen the fixtures anyway. Who gives a shit? We've not got third. It's fine. Fourth's what we're here for. We both predicted us to finish fourth at the start of the season.
Big up the conference. Here we come.
Yes, here we are. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. We hope you have enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Come on, the Hearts!